Good morning. We are live. I am Jen Sugarmeyer. We are here with Mindset in the Morning. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. to become intentional about our lives and the direction that we're going. The morning is such a sacred time of day. This is YouTube, so you can watch at any time, but we meet in the morning because, this is for me too. It's to get our days intentional about the direction that we want to go. So that's what this is all about, getting your mindset in the morning. Mindset in the morning, we are setting our mind for success. And the truth is, over this past year, if we look back at COVID and everything that happened, and it was such a whirlwind in life. And I don't know about you, but there were times that even I felt like, oh man, where is my spark? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is finding your spark, because this can happen at any point in our life. I think, especially during COVID, especially while we were inside, cooped up, locked up, everything in our lives changed. So we're going to talk about finding our spark. But first, I would love if you would subscribe. And if you enjoy the content, I would love if you would share this with the people in your life, because they say all ships rise with the tide. So this is the tide. Let's all rise together. And when we all rise together, we can all support each other and just make the world a better place. Because the truth is, we live once and we want to make sure that we are living our best life. So that's what this is all about. It is Monday morning if you are watching this live, and I'm so curious what everybody does on the weekend. My weekend, I had a really good one. I've been working a lot on the weekend, and the weekend I decided to take off. I was not going to do anything whatsoever, and it was just going to be me time. And I spent time by the pool. I spent, Saturday and Sunday both by the pool, and it felt wonderful. So I'm curious what you did this weekend, just something for yourself, whether it be 5 minutes or an entire day. Drop in the chat, because I'd love to hear from you and what you are doing. But it felt really good for me to take that time and just focus on me. And there were a couple of, I'm like, oh, maybe I should get on my computer. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And my brain just said, no, you need the entire 2 days to recuperate. And I think we really need to be aware of what our body is telling us and just to be in flow with that. And I think that also helps us find our spark, which is really what we are talking about here today. So 4 questions that you can ask yourself to finding your spark. So first of all, what makes you happy? I know that sounds really basic, but if we're figuring out what makes you happy, have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what makes me happy? And is what I'm doing making me happy? And I've looked at my life before, and I've just been in the routine of life, and I'm going into work and I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. And I'm paying the bills, and I'm doing my responsibilities, and I'm taking my car to get it cleaned. And you just get into the routine of life. And are we stopping and asking ourselves and saying, hey, what actually makes me happy? Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk here that not everything that you do in your life is going to bring you immense joy. Now, we can change our mind and find gratitude in everything. And that's the way that we can find joy in everything. Yeah, you might not like doing dishes, but guess what? You get to do dishes. Not everybody does, because some people are starving. So there's a way that we can go into gratitude and find happiness there. But the truth is, like, not everything is going to be like cleaning toilets today, and as much as we want to be in gratitude and like, I get to clean toilets, it's still probably not our favorite thing. But my point is, have you stopped to ask yourself and say, hey, what brings me happiness? And are the big things that I'm doing in my life, am I honoring that? For example, your job. Does your job bring you the level of happiness? Now, you may say, you know what? I don't really care about my job. I don't care if my job brings me happiness or not. My job brings me a paycheck, and that's all I want out of my job. Great. For some people, that's it. Some people have a job and really it is just a paycheck for them. They don't want any more. They don't want any less. They want a paycheck every other week. And that's okay. But what else in your life do you have that's going on that is bringing you happiness? Maybe you say, I don't care about my job, but I really care about what I volunteer. I care about the church, or the synagogue or the whatever, the mosque or whatever it is, holy place for you. Maybe that's your thing. Are you honoring in your life the things that really bring you happiness? But the first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what brings you happiness? I know, so basic, so basic. So write a list. Say, these are the things that make me happy. And then look at that list and say, am I honoring these? And you don't have to do all, but I mean, are you sprinkling some throughout the week? And I would hope, I mean, we're trying to find our spark here. What's that thing that just, like, so we want to pop out of bed. So we're excited to face the day, not, okay, it's another day. I get to do this routine again. Great. We want to be excited about life. I literally, and I say this all the time, I don't want to be 80 years old and look back and say, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I just don't. That's not me. I want to say, man, I lived my best life. And it doesn't mean that I was doing all the things that I wanted to do all the time, like those toilets, like, the dishes. That's not the things that I want to be doing all the time. But do I have the things that brought me happiness in my life? Was I honoring those throughout the week, throughout my life, throughout the year? You may say, I love going to the beach. Okay. Well, you might not live on a beach, but maybe once a year you can carve out a week or two and you go to that beach. So these are things, start to think about things that, yes, you can do in your daily life. Think about daily, think about weekly, think about monthly. Maybe you really enjoy going out to dinner. Okay, great. Maybe once a week. But put some time box things around them. These aren't things that you have to do in your everyday life. I can't go to the beach every single day, but I really enjoy going to the beach. I really enjoy going to the lake. I really enjoy getting on a plane and just traveling somewhere, but I can't do that every single day. But I want that to be part of my life. It makes me happy. So am I honoring the things that make me happy, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, annually, whatever that may be? But I would say, look at annually for the majority, not every other year. Look at annually. What are those things that you can be doing daily, monthly, weekly, annually? I kind of went back and forth there. What are the things that make you happy? So it's basic, but think about it. All right. Secondly, what are you in your ideal routine? I have definitely not been in my ideal routine over this past year. COVID has it's like a shaker, I think about my shaker here, shook my life up. And I'm like, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down, but I'm a creature of habit. And I like to have a certain routine where I'm in flow. And I like to have things very structured throughout the day. And when I'm not in that level of structure, I feel like my life is a little all over the place. I don't know. I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, and I don't know why this is. And I'd be so curious. Drop it in the chat if you're the same. I'm so curious because when I'm in this level of tons of things going on, there's maybe even a little bit of chaos going on in my life. That's when I'm the most productive. Not when, I only have one thing to do today. If I only have one thing to do, guess what? I'm I'll take my time. I'll sit over here for a little bit. I'll play on my phone for a little bit. I'm going to check out the social media stuff. I'm going to whatever. But when I have a ton of things to do, I'm dump. And I time manage so much better. So if I have a million things going on, I'm time managing. I'm highly productive. If I have not much going on, if I'm not scheduling things on my calendar, if I'm I have the whole day free. Okay. I'll just do this from this time to this time. I'll do this but it's not on my calendar. Okay, well, I'll just get around to it when I get around to it. So if I'm highly structured versus I'm not highly structured, there is a different spark that I bring to the table, 100%. And my spark, it happens when I have tons of things going on. Not when I go on vacation. I want to just relax. I want to just chill. When I'm on the weekends, I want to just chill. But ask yourself, what kind of routine gives me that spark? And am I living in that routine? There's a theme here that we're going to see, and it's you asking yourself these questions. If you don't ask yourself these powerful questions, then how do you know? How are you taking that pause? This is where we just get into that routine of life. I've had it happen before. I'm like, how did I get into this job? I don't even like this job, but my boss just changed my, job title or put me into a different team or whatever. And I'm like, how did I end up here? And it's because, are we stopping and asking ourselves, is this where we want to be? Is this the life that we want to be living? So you got to ask yourself these questions. So what brings you happiness? And are you in your ideal routine? And I don't know what that routine looks like for you, but ask yourself, does it feel good? And maybe you don't know. Maybe you need a few days to just kind of go through it and figure it out. But think about things like when you were at your happiest. Start there. You're not reinventing the wheel. Maybe you're at a different point in your life, but you're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. There are things that have brought you happiness, I hope, in the past. And where were you when you were in that routine? I think very fondly about when I spent a year in Afghanistan, and when I left, I went to India for a few months and I learned how to cook and I was writing a book and I was doing all these things. And I tell you what, I loved that routine. I loved waking up, getting into a book and writing. I wrote until my battery died on my laptop every single day. And then I would go into a home and I would cook with a family. And that to me just brought me so much joy. So I look very fondly on, those couple of months where I was doing that. I've never had the chance to replicate that here in the States again. But when I look back, I say, oh, I remember that brought me a lot of happiness. I also know that I am truly firing on all cylinders when I got a lot of things going on. Now I have to balance that because sometimes it can make me a little, it's a little intense up here. So I have to make sure that I find that balance. But I like when I get out of the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work out. Okay, I've got to, get ready. I got to get into the office. I got to do whatever. Now that COVID's here and I'm working for myself and whatever, it's okay. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do the show. I'm going to get my workout in. I'm going to start my day. I'm going to work. I'm going to whatever. But I have to have these things time boxed out, because if I look at my calendar and I say, oh, yeah, I don't have any meetings booked. I don't have any whatever. I'll just get around to the things. No, I have to be making those lists. I have to put things on my calendar. That's where I'm in flow. So look back at your life. You already have data to work with. So what was the routine that brought you that spark, that brought you that flow? And are you there? And if you're not, how do you start to work yourself back there? All right. Are you stuck in the past, or are you stuck in the future? And if the answer is yes, then you're not in the present. So two things. So a lot of times we can get stuck in the past and it's like, woe is me. I can't believe these things have happened. Maybe you did something, you gave a bad presentation at work and you just keep stewing over it, lamenting over it. And if you are stuck in the past, then you are not in the present. Like, our brains can only put so much energy and thought and time and attention into so many things. I can't be like all the things at all the time. I'm either happy or I'm sad in one moment, like, oh, I'm really sad. Now I can be really happy, but you're not both at the same time. And we only have so many thoughts. So if you are thinking about the past, if you are stuck in the past, then you are missing things that are in the here, the now. This is where the magic happens. There is nothing, absolutely nothing we can do about the past. Doesn't mean that we can't change the future. Doesn't mean that we can't learn from those things. It doesn't mean that we can't make changes within our life to change things going forward. But whatever happened here is done. It's done. The only thing you can do now, learn from it, grow from it, maybe apologize. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was that you're lamenting over, but there's nothing you can do. So if you're living in the past, or if you're living in the future, what happens when we don't know the future? Yeah, we get into a state of fear. And again, you can't be fearful and happy. Oh, I'm so scared and happy. not at the same time. You can be both, but not in the same very second. You can switch, but we're not like, I'm scared, I'm happy, I'm scared. We usually sit in one feeling for a little bit of time. So you may be thinking about the future and you're really scared, you're fearful, or you could be so focused. Maybe it does excite you. I'm excited for the future, but you're so focused here that you're not here. And the truth is, just like in the past, we can't control all of the things about the future. Yes, we can start to lay foundation and make changes and change the trajectory of our life 100%. But I don't control everything. I don't. So you may say, I'm going to build this business and it's going to look like this. Well, guess what? You may roll out a product that the universe just wasn't ready to take. And that's happened before. Some people are just before their time. So you may have this great vision, but it doesn't take off the way you think it's going to. So yes, get excited for the future. Yes, remember the things that have happened in the past, but don't live in them. Don't live in them. Are you here? Are you now? Are you looking for those little things that bring you joy? My cat brings me a lot of joy. I can see her right now. And I'm like, I love her. And she crinks her little head and she buries herself and I get happy. That's a moment that is here and now. Here and now. So enjoy those moments. They will help bring your spark. And last but not least, we've got a few minutes left. Are you settling? Are you settling for less than what you deserve? And the only way you're going to know this is if you ask yourself, am I settling? So look at the different things that are in your life. People, places, things. I found that I had outgrown a lot of friends as I started to level up my life. And I had to make some adjustments. Had I stayed there, I would have not only limited my ability to grow because these people were not growing. They were just complacent where they were. Nothing bad on them. I just moved to a different place in my life. And that's okay. We can grow. We are absolutely, as we grow, things are going to change. And that is okay. But you got to look. Remember that powerful question that we talked about a few weeks ago. Ask yourself this, does this serve me? And those friends didn't. And yeah, it was a little painful to kind of step away and back away. And I see that they have, parties and things like that. And either I'm not invited or I don't go. And that's okay. It's okay. Because I know where I'm at now. I'm in a different space. And sure, it might have been fun to go sit around the pool or do these things, but I don't miss the gossip. I don't miss the rumors. I don't miss the small-mindedness. That would have been me settling had I stayed there. And I don't want to settle. And again, it's not that we're just at different places. But ask yourself, look at your life and say, are there things that I'm settling? The things that I do, where I choose to spend my time, my job, the people, places, things, ideologies. Ask yourself, does this serve me? And if not, you probably need to make a change. But we settle so often. And why? Because it's comfortable. It's comfortable just to be here. It is uncomfortable to grow. It is uncomfortable to step out of your, comfort zone and into the great unknown, to try something new. That is uncomfortable. But the only way that we grow is to get uncomfortable. So if we're trying to level up, if we are trying to change our life, if we are trying to do and be the best that we can be, it may come with some discomfort. Very likely. So how do we find that spark? Ask yourself, what brings me happiness? Or ask yourself about specific things. Does this bring me happiness? Start there. You've already got a whole bunch of, go throughout your day. As you're going through your day, does this bring me happiness? Then ask yourself, are you in your ideal routine? Are you stuck in the past? Are you stuck in the future? Are you living in the now? And are you settling? So those are 4 questions that you can ask yourself today. So start making changes today so that you can find your spark. I'm ready to go find my spark. I actually feel pretty sparky, but there are times that I'm like, oof, and I got to ask myself these questions. That's the only way. You have to ask yourself. You got to do the work. On my podcast, I end every podcast. I say the only way to level up is what? That's right, is to do the work. So go do the work. Go ask yourself, how do you want your life? And if it's not how it looks now, how do you want it to be? How are you going to get there? We want to be intentional about our lives. So go out and ask yourself, are you sparking or not? And if not, how are we going to get you there? Go ask yourself those 4 powerful questions, and I will see you here, same time, same place. Please like, please subscribe.